Ibironke, Khadeejah, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. All praise and adoration is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We thank Him for His grace, for His mercy, for giving us the opportunity to be able to join this platform and be able to do this program this evening. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And big thank you to Wasalatu Rahman, Islamic Organization of UK and Ireland. Thank you for the invite. I sincerely appreciate you. And inshallah, we hope to be able to give ourselves one or two tips. This, inshallah, will be a reminder for the speaker as well as those of you listening to me. And I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us good understanding of what this is and make it an uja for all of us on the day of Qiyamah and not against us. I have a topic today to present on something that I feel is very important for us as not just Muslims, but as Black people in general. And what is that? My health, my well-being, and my responsibilities. If you don't mind, in between, I might be putting in one or two Yoruba words because I'm aware that my audience is more of our people. So as we go along, if there's need for me to say one or two things in Yoruba, please, I will kindly do that. So seeking your audience before we proceed further. So we have the topic, my health, my well-being, and my responsibility. When I was thinking about that topic, a lot of things, flashed through my mind. That how do we actually, what is responsible to us as Muslim? Alhamdulillah, Allah has given us a huge privilege. One, that we are alive now, and secondly, is the month of Ramadan, and thirdly, for giving us that grace to be a Muslim. The Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that you and I are should be the best of human, the one that is the most healthiest in the world. By the virtue of the fact that we are Muslim, we should actually be very, very healthy. So in essence, if we are doing things we're meant to do as ideal Muslim and ideal Muslimah, maybe we shouldn't be talking about this now. But because we are human and as human beings, we are forgetful, just like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, that sometimes human beings will tend to forget. So as a reminder, to the speaker as well as the listeners, we have to deal with these kind of issues. Why my health? Why my responsibility? The reasons are not far-fetched, but let's start from the basic. The world as we know it currently has changed. Whether we like it or not, we are living in what you call unprecedented times, strange times. We don't have the normal the way we know it just 3 months ago. As a result, we don't have a choice as a people, but change with that time. And how are we going to embrace that change? Are we going to emerge from this situation positively or negatively is yet to be seen. But in all honesty, I pray that Allah make it easy for all of us to emerge from this positively. Because the world we live in has changed. Financially, the world has changed. Most countries of the world are now going through recession. As a result, access to health care is not going to be the same going forward. So by the virtue of just that alone, our health, we must prioritize self-care. That is one. Number two, as an adult, as a Muslim, the way Allah has structured our religion and the way Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam actually wants us to practice it is giving us that template to be able to take full responsibility for our health. Take, for instance, we are all fasting now in the holy month of Ramadan, alhamdulillah. That is like a check and balance that Allah has given to you. That when you eat and overeat and don't take good care of yourself for 11 good months of the year, I will give you a month by which you can pause. Whether you like it or not, there will be a limit to the amount of what you can eat. While you are attaining all the benefits of fasting spiritually, we are equally getting the physical benefits. We are cleansing our mind spiritually, and we are getting the physical cleanse. In essence, if we were to fast Ramadan the way it's been prescribed, we should all finish from this month of Ramadan all hale and hearty. We should all be healthier. That is another reason why that responsibility, because it is our religious responsibility to take good care of our health. by the virtue of the fact that we are Muslim. The third one is a very simple one. Sincerely speaking, it is just a matter of common sense. Taking responsibility for our health, it's a common sense that should come to each and every one of us naturally. Why is that? If you look around you now, whether we like it or not, because of the changes all around us, we do not have a choice anyway. We don't have a choice. For those of us that live abroad, access to care now, if you want to see your GP, you cannot physically see your GP anymore. You have to book an appointment teleconferencing. Even that is no longer routinely available. So most now lack access to the kind of care we used to have. That is one. For our brothers and sisters in Africa, we know what it is like to even access health care in all those kind of places. So the only way we can maintain good life going forward is to prioritize the of self-care, self-responsibility, taking good care of us without anyone prompting us. And reasons why we should do that. A little bit of statistics into why I like to give this conversation, I like to give this study this afternoon. We know already that 1 out of every 4 adults in the world is obese. When we look at that statistic, that is looking at the whole world population. When we now bring that to the Black and ethnic minorities that you and I represent, actually it's almost 2 out of every 4 of us are obese. And when we are obese, it makes us prone to a lot of different illnesses, a lot of different conditions. And why do we become obese? Of course, because of the way we eat. Thankfully, my audience and my brothers and sisters, Nigeria, the reasons are not far-fetched. Our food, our nutrition, as Nigerians and commonly as Black people, it's not the healthiest in the world. Even though we're all born in areas where we have access to good fruits and vegetables, we actually do not inculcate them enough into our diet, enough for it to give us good health going forward. One, we love our carbohydrates. We love our soul food, a lot of oil. These are the things that predisposes us to high cholesterol, predisposes us to type 2 diabetes mellitus, and I know quite a large number of us above 40 have high blood pressure problems. Not talking about those that have the underlying asthmas or things like that. So why should we prioritize self-care now? Good question. Because we already know that we are at risk of all these illnesses by the virtue of what we eat. And most of the medications that are readily available that we even get given from our GP, it might interest you to let you know all the amlodipines, the enalaprils of this world, all the metformins of this world that we get given that is so common within our community. Ask yourself, were all these medications researched on us as Black people before we get given? No. I'm not aware of any Nigerian or any Black person that go for medical trials. When I say medical trials, I mean drug trials when they are doing them. Because they are not tried on us, taking them means we are almost like gambling. And as a result, sometimes we actually do not get the maximum benefit from this medication because most of the time the drug trials are done with the Caucasian. This is one of the reasons why when we go on some certain medications for our blood pressure, one agent, like one medication may not be enough. We are usually on dual therapy, triple therapy, even some on 4 different types of agents before they can get good control of their ailments. By the virtue of who we are and how we eat again, we are very prone to type 2 diabetes because most of us are big. Most of us have, when we eat, our lifestyle is very sedentary. And this is not just peculiar to Black people only anyway. Currently, the way the world is now, every part of the world, they are, because of migration, emigration, and internet and technology, most of us are now sitting on the computer, just like I'm doing presentation to you now, using my internet technology. We don't tend to move anymore. So as a result, if we are trying to eat the way our forefathers were eating, we are not going to get the kind of benefit they were getting. We are only going to, increase our problems, increase the ill health, increase all the issues that are related to eating bad food. How? In the olden days, our grandparents, when they have their heavy carbohydrate meal in the morning before they set off to the farm, Most of the time they walk miles. Some will walk almost 10 miles before they get to the farm. By the time they get to that farm, they've already burnt off all the calorie from that heavy carbohydrates. The ones that are not walking are cycling. By the time they cycle, they've already burned it up. They get to their farm, maybe they eat whatever they want to eat in the farm again with all the food we love to eat, all the oil, all the carbohydrates and all. They get in, they work physically. They use their physical strength. So by the time they finish, eat their food and make their way back home, walk the same distance back home, they burn off all this energy again. As a result, they don't have any residual in their system. And I know most of them, at least I remember my grandma then, my maternal grandma. Every time she returns from the farm and we go to visit, she will tell you when it's like 7 o'clock, I'm not allowed to eat anymore. They have their own way by which they cleanse themselves. Some of them will take the bitter leaf, they squeeze it, they drink it. By so doing, they are cleansing themselves on the go. Now, because the life has changed the way we know it, we are not living like that. An average adult should at least detox twice a year. My listeners, when was the last time you actually physically made efforts to detox? Most of us don't even know how to do that. As a result, we cannot get away with eating the way the people of then were eating and expect to live as long as they live because time has changed. Where most of us live, you only need to come out of your house, there is a bus stop, even if you don't drive. And I know most of us do drive anyway. So we go from our front door straight to our car, from the car to our place of work, we get down straight to our offices. We are there on our feet, we sit down 8 hours, 10 hours, we finish back to our car again, come back home, by the time we get home, 7 p.m., 8 p.m., we are now back to this heavy big pot of pounded yam or whatever we want to eat, right in front of our TV. Many would doze off in front of that TV. That is it. And the cycle continues. And this is the reason why it's so easy for us to pound on all this weight. Before you know it, we've accumulated it. And not only are we doing that disservice to ourselves only, our children are learning that habit, which is one of the reasons why the numbers of the Black kids that are actually obese now is skyrocketing. Childhood obesity is a major public health concern before COVID came. And from all the researches out there now, this information you can Google, the pointers are there. Obese children will eventually become obese adults if they don't take proactive measures. And as they get older, it actually becomes more difficult for them to lose this weight. And because it's difficult for them to lose this weight, we are now seeing much younger people being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes mellitus. You will now see people in their early 20s being hypertensive. In fact, we are seeing people as young as 29 now having chronic kidney diseases. And why are these conditions very, chronic kidney diseases, for example, is very common within the Nigerian community now, currently in London specifically. Two things are responsible for that. Our high risk of hypertension and diabetes mellitus make us to be so prone because these are the two conditions that lead to kidney problems. You only need to walk around the dialysis centers in London now and see the number of Black people that are there. And unfortunately, when I say these Black people, that includes my Muslim brothers and sisters. This is our current reality. Now, are we going to continue like that? If we continue on that trajectory, it's only going to lead us to one place, the place of failure. And inshallah, we mustn't fail, which is the reason why I am here this evening to talk about this. I don't want to scaremonger or talk about just the problems alone without, telling us about what the solutions are. The solutions to dealing with all these issues are what you and I can do on a daily basis. It just involves a bit of discipline, determination, and the desire to actually follow it through. And why would we need to do that? The reasons are not far-fetched again. An average Black person works really, really hard. I know we are hard workers. Even for those of us that are professionals, we just don't do our normal hours, we do much more. Because we do much more, make us prone, we are more at risk of illnesses because of stress-related problems. Some of us have mental health issues, undiagnosed. A lot of us have a lot of physical conditions. Some are walking almost like walking corpse. with diabetes and high blood pressure, they are not even aware, especially our men, especially our men. You know, women, we actually do talk, we tend to talk more. So when we see a little bit of problem, it's quicker for us to go to our GP and raise our concerns. Men generally, typically, whether white or black, they typically do not even go for their checks. Some are not even registered with the GP. So as a result, by the time they get to find out that something is wrong, it's most of the time usually very, very late. This is what I would like to bring into that consciousness today. So now, what are the solutions to all this? Looking around us now, all you need to Google is, how do I maintain my health going forward? And you will see all the kind of solutions that Google on its own will give to you. We are at that age of internet information, internet technology, we all have information at our fingertips. So because we are inundated with so much information, in fact, application of those information is now the current problems. Most people knows what to do, but we are not doing them. One, because a lot of the mindset shifts, we are just not interested. And for those that are interested, maybe financial difficulties or whatever, the question is, how important is maintaining good health to us? By the virtue of who we are, we work very, very hard. Because we work really hard, we amass wealth as we go. Well, if we don't have the good health, how do we then enjoy this health, all this hard work we've done? There is a statistic looking at how Black people retire. Apparently, when we retire, most of the time, about 60% of us will retire with one or two comorbidities, such that we are actually retiring into chronic conditions. So we are retiring, but we are using our retirement to not ill health, because we've accumulated all those problems while we were working in our younger years, and then they go into retirement with us. And by the time we retire, we have less energy anyway. So it then becomes more and more difficult to deal with them. As a result of that, we are not living as long as we should. We are not living as long as our Caucasian counterparts, especially for those of us in diaspora. And more of us are suffering from more illnesses, things like stroke, at a much earlier age than our Caucasian, counterparts, which is really, really sad. For instance, as a Muslim, if we are to actually follow the Sunnah, that we should fast 2 days a week, every week, and the normal, the mid lunar month fasting. If anybody were to follow that trajectory, you'll be able to maintain good health anyway. But who does? Do I do it? No, I don't do that religiously. The one that most of us do is the Ramadan. Alhamdulillah. Now you look on the internet, you see the diet they call the 5-to-2, that you eat for 2 days, you take a break, you eat for 5 days, pardon me, you take a break for 2 days, going back again to the Sunnah. So which means our Sunnah actually has the solution to this problem. We only need to adopt them. Now, what do I want to share with us this evening? The first thing I want to say is, whether we like it or not now, we actually do not have a choice anymore. Every single one of us has to prioritize self-care, especially with the current wave of the pandemic that has taken over every community now. Everybody now knows that coronavirus has affected Black people much more than it did affect our Caucasian people in terms of the number of deaths. That we did not, recover as good as we should compared to our Caucasian counterparts. That we've lost more of our healthcare workforces that are of Black and ethnic minorities origin because of, pre-morbid circumstances we have, things like the diabetes and the hypertension that we all have that most were not even aware of before they got hit by corona and all that. So as a result, if there is a time we need to now take responsibility for our health, it's now. So if any one of us is 40 and above, are you aware that you could actually request for yearly MOT from your GP? If you have not been doing that, now it's a must. We now have to. If you book an appointment with your GP and you cannot get it, the pharmacies, they are still open, which is great. Most of the stuff that the GP will check, apart from the blood test, we can actually walk into a lot of our pharmacy now to get them checked. What are these routine checks we need to go and do? They are simple stuff. that even you can keep the machines at home to check. Blood sugar machines are sold over the counter. High blood pressure machines are sold over the counter. Every single adult above 40 years of age should have these two, especially if you're of Black origin, should have these two gadgets at home. And the idea is not for you to do them every day, but to do a spot and actually check maybe once a week for your blood pressure. When you wake up in the morning, once a week, just see where you are as your baseline. For diabetes, maybe once a month. Just check so that you know, because we can't see our GP at the moment. When you go to your GP, they will do your weight, they will do your height, and they check our BMI. If we are obese, they will let you know that you are overweight. You need to go do something about your weight. We already know that if we begin to lose weight, we can, manage a lot of all these comorbidities. And most significantly, there is one check they do. It's really, really, really significant for all of us. This is our cholesterol check. When you do your full body MOT at age 40, especially men, not only with it, they will do the cholesterol, they will check our ureas and electrolytes, so they will check our kidney and liver functions. So when they do all that check, you will be able to tell that, okay, I'm in good health, or no, my kidney function is not as great as it should be. What can I do to prevent it? Having all these conditions is not a death sentence, but not managing them or not being aware of them is where the main problem lies. Because we have them and we are not getting the right treatment to control them, this is where we have a lot of problems. I know a lot of men will actually get their blood pressure medications. They won't use it. Most don't use it. And even when they do, they are not very compliant by taking it every day, which they should. And we already know that with blood pressure, actually, if we take a strict dietary regimen, you adopt a very strict, healthy lifestyle. Blood pressure, hypertension is one condition that is reversible. I don't think most people are aware of that. If you can be disciplined and you take, good stock of yourself, go on a very good dietary regimen. If you cannot go to the gym, I don't go to the gym, but I walk a lot. Walking 4 days a week, maybe even 20 minutes of walking extra, 4 days a week. Eating good food, very high portion of fruits and vegetables, things that we should be eating that we don't like to eat. If you're able to take good control of that, if you're on just one tablet for blood pressure, you do that for 6 weeks consecutively, go back to your GP and check, they may be able to take you off those blood pressure pills. Even if you're on combination therapies, the one we call maybe 2, 3, 4 medications to control your blood pressure, if you take good dietary regimen, take good lifestyle decision, we can actually reverse to the point where we are just on one medication. The lesser the number of tablets we take, the better our overall health. Because most of these, I don't think if there's any medication in the world that doesn't have a side effect, including your paracetamol. They all have side effects. In fact, some doctors will tell you medications are poisons. But I do not buy that opinion simply because if you need to take your medications, then you must take it until such a time that you would not need to be reliant fully on them anymore. So there is that. So what is the best medicine we can have? In essence, our best medicine is food. Nutrition is the next best medicine going forward. If we can take good care of what we're putting into our mouths, even much more than the exercise would do, because the balance of good health really in a lot of people is 70-30. If you can take good care of 70% of your nutrition, the remaining 30% is the work you're going to do, maybe the bit of weight you want to lift, or maybe for those that are really proactive, maybe the gym you want to go to. Which means if we can control what we're putting into our mouths in terms of food, a lot of all the problems that actually weigh us down as a community, we can manage them. And this includes various forms of cancers. There are now so many cancers that has been linked to bad diet. When I say bad diet, I'm talking about nutrition, very high in calorie, very high in oil, very, very low in fiber. And what are these cancers? For women, the first one that comes to mind is breast cancer. So many publications that are there now linking food to development of breast cancer. Colon cancer. stomach cancers. A lot of these cancers now, they realize that being overweight, what you eat on daily basis, actually feed into them. High sugar content food. And these are the kind of food as a community that we like. This is now the time to begin to slowly, progressively make a change. You may not be able to do it as a drastic thing one day at a time, no, but one change a day, one change a week. Maybe this week what you want to do is, you know what, this week I'm going to try and drink 3 liters of water. Mind you, I know we're in Ramadan, but maybe after Ramadan and after Situ Shawwal, you want to say, you know what, 2 weeks after Ramadan, I'm going to tax myself and I'm going to drink at least 3 liters of water every day because I want to cleanse myself, because I want to return my beauty, because usually when we are dehydrated, women especially, we tend to have breakouts. But when you drink more water, your skin subtle, your skin become more supple again. We're able to, move our bowel freer. In fact, our joints move better. And for those of us that want to lose weight, drinking a lot of water help you through that process as well. Maybe that is the change you want to introduce. Could it be that, you know what, this week I want to add one more fruit and vegetable to my diet? And on the issue around fruit and vegetable, I've got something to say about that. I don't know how many of us are aware. We know about the 5 a day campaign that they tell us to do, that you must eat 5 portions of fruit and vegetable every day. It's no longer 5 a day. WHO, the World Health Organization, actually changed that guideline. They are saying for us to maintain the balance of good health, we need to consume 5 portions of fruit and 5 portions of vegetable every single day. The truth is, how many of us are able to do that? Even me here, I cannot manage that. Many of us cannot manage that. Even for those that are so big on juicing that will make their smoothie every day, how many of us can realistically make 10 fruit and vegetable smoothie on daily basis? Look at the cost, the cost aspect of it. Fruit and veg don't stay very long. They get spoiled very quickly. Besides, to get that rainbow that the nutritionists are telling us to eat now, rainbow means varieties of fruit and vegetable. The more the varieties, the more the benefits we get from them. How many one of us actually go to the store to buy blackcurrant? How many Nigerians go to the store to buy cherry? How many of us go to the market to buy elderberry? How many of us go to the market to buy blueberries? And these are the kind of things we need our heart for the longevity we crave, that prevent all chronic kidney diseases, that prevent all conditions. We know we don't do them. That is why we need to find an alternative way of getting them into our system. I will get into that. Now, another raging issue that is affecting us as a community, especially Black people, because this talk is not just about food. I want to touch a little bit on our mental health, because this is one area that average Nigerians do not talk about. We pretend that we are very strong. We just assume that we are very strong. We don't talk out. We see it as a complex to come out to tell someone that, you know what, I am struggling. I've not been sleeping well. When we know that we are plagued with a lot of issues as people, we are the ones with money issues. Some of us has problem with our papers. Most of us, even those that are professionals, maintain 2 families, one here, and so a lot back home. So we are under constant pressure to overwork, to earn more. As a result of this, it puts us in a lot of mental disadvantage. And this is our truth. And I want us to confront that truth. Part of the things we need to do to help our mental strength is eating well as well. Eating well comes into that again. Loading yourself with food that are rich in plant omegas, salmon, fish oil, and that kind of stuff will help you. Eating a lot of seed, almond seed, will help our mental state. But beyond that, maybe, alhamdulillah, that I'm talking on a platform that is an Asalatu group. Do we have counseling department in our Asalatus, for instance? Are women free to come to us to let us to pour out their mind? Sometimes talking is a good therapy. Do we have those platforms where we can talk about our issues and deal with them? And if we don't have them, for all of us that are in diaspora, every single borough we live has mental health department. They have the counseling support. the statistics are there to say that we do not access those services. And unfortunately, our children are breaking down on mental health related issues because we as a parent, we are not confronting those issues. The mindset, the ideas we have of the way we were disciplined as children has damaged most of us, such that we bring that and project that onto the children we have in this country. They struggle to understand that because when they go to school, they tell them something different. They come, when they get home, we expect a different level of standards. Some of them are not coping. And when I say this, I'm talking about myself as well. Maybe it's about time we demystify that when you see an average Nigerian going to access a mental health service, that we stigmatize them. No, it's not about stigma. It's about support, cohesive support. Us, all of us in it together, as opposed to she alone or he against us. It's our issues. When one of our brother is down, when one of our sister is down, that issue is our collective issue. Are we making good use of the professionals among us? These are some of the things I want to signpost us to. Talking about counseling support, how we need to access those services. There is nothing wrong in letting our teenage children actually find a mentor that does not look like us. It helps them to understand the system they live in, and they are able to cope better instead of having a lot of parents have problem with their teenage children, including myself here. We struggle because we feel our parents can take the cane, they can beat us. We cannot do that. We shout a lot as Nigerians. If you shout on these kids, sometimes they even talk you down. We need to understand some of these things. These are part of the well-being we are talking about. It's about cohesive well-being. Another area I like to touch on is around overworking and overstretching ourselves. This is one of the things that has cost us again with this COVID pandemic. We realize that most of our people are not able to withstand going on admission for so long because, frankly, our immunity is almost flat. So when we get sick, it doesn't take long before we deteriorate quickly. So as a result, we lost a lot of people, sadly. Are we going to continue with that same trajectory? No, we are not. We need to make a change. Hence, all this awareness talk. We love to make our monies. Our lifestyle is such that we love our parties. There's nothing wrong with that. But is it about check and balances? Is it really now time for check and balances? There is that. Think about that as well. Another thing I like to mention is when we look at self-care, and you actually wonder, who do I talk to? What kind of vitamins do I take? I know all our Holland and Barretts are there. We can go to the Tesco's and pick all the vitamins. Be very, very careful of what you're actually putting into your mouth, because sadly and unfortunately, pharmaceutical companies, all these laboratories are there. They need to make their money. Sometimes some of these things we think we consume can actually be detrimental to our health, especially if they are not natural whole food supplements. You may just be gulping down the pill and it's sincerely not doing much for you. I'll give you an example. The next time you get your vitamin C, the one we put in water, the 1000 milligram one. By the way, an average adult only need just 200 milligram of vitamin C, but they are selling the 1000 milligram to us. 200 milligram of vitamin C you can get if your diet is rich in fruits and vegetables. So in essence, we actually do not need to supplement with vitamin C. But just in case we need to supplement, for you to know that some of the things you're eating may not be working as good as you think they are, take your vitamin C the next time, especially those ones we put in water that we buy from our Hajia and everywhere, or even the Ibironke plant, anyone, put it in water, drink it. Go to the loo. Go and find out what the color of your urine is. It will look exactly like that vitamin C. The way you fast it, the body has taken maybe the tiny dose it needs from it, the rest you fast out. So in essence, when you're looking at the right kind of supplement to get, be mindful of what you buy. Be really, really, really mindful. Pharmaceutical companies are there. They need to make their own money. It's a huge profit-making organization. So they will shove a lot of things down our neck. This is the reason why it's important to seek the right guidance. If you're going to supplement, make sure it's a supplement that is pure, probably organic, unadulterated fruits and vegetables. There are some of them around now. We have a brand that we promote, but I'm not going to mention that on this platform. If you need that, contact me and we can talk about that. That will be pure fruit, vegetables, unadulterated. And the reason is that the nutrients and the phytonutrients you want to get from them should be the exact same nutrients you will be getting from your normal fruits and vegetable. So in essence, if you're not able to eat the required amount of the fruit and veg you need on a daily basis, you are using that right supplement, to bridge that nutrition gap. When you bridge nutrition gap, actually you build your immunity. When our immune response is low, we struggle. We can't fight illnesses. When our immune response is low, when our immunity is low, we do not recover easily from illnesses. And because for some of us abroad as well, another thing I like to mention is our lack of vitamin D. Most of us are born in countries where we have a lot of sun. We are blacks. As a result, we have the melanin in our skin is able to absorb the vitamin D directly from the sun. Vitamin D is called the sunshine vitamins. For those of us in the UK and most of the countries in Europe and wherever we find ourselves, hardly do we even get 1 month's worth of sunlight. Some of us have been told that we are vitamin D deficient. If you've been told that you're vitamin D deficient, please, I beg you, take your vitamin D supplements every day without missing them, if you've been told. And if you have not been told, there are low dose vitamin D supplements, and the one you need is the one that is called D3. Always make sure it's the one that has the content D3, vitamin D3, because that is the one our body can easily absorb. Get that. In a lot of the shops, they are very cheap to buy. As a black man, we should be taking vitamin D supplements every day, including giving them to our children in low doses. And when our vitamin D level is actually low, vitamin D has been linked to immunity as well as respiratory health. That's the way we breathe. This is probably one of the reasons they are looking into that. So I'm not sure. We wait for the results of that research. That could it be because some of these black people that died of COVID had low level of vitamin D in them? Maybe, maybe not. Could that be the reason why one of the things that killed most people was the fact that they are breathing? They couldn't breathe? Maybe, maybe not. We await the result of a lot of investigation. But it's not going to do us any harm to go on the low dose of them. At least supplement it. And when your vitamin D level is actually good in your blood, you find out that a lot of the joint problems we have, you can actually mitigate against them. When people are low in vitamin D, they tell you about extreme fatigue and exhaustion. Just starting on vitamin D alone, you will notice you're less fatigued. So really the answer to all these questions we are asking now is in our hands. The informations are there. Seek the right information. Seek the right guidance. Find a way to ensure that whether you like it or not, on a daily basis for you and your family, you're having fruits and vegetables. And I've had it a lot where mothers will say, oh, I've got children, they don't eat fruits. That will be my last statement before I close and give room for question and answer. We are in a very difficult situation now. The government just announced a few days ago they want to send the kids back to school post this lockdown. As a mother, I'm so worried about that because I can know what to do to prevent myself. Are you sure that an average teacher can prevent 2 children from working together, from playing together? So if peradventure I'm a nurse, for instance, I get exposed to COVID at work, my child will take it from me, then she take it to school and spread it. They will play whether we like it or not. Children will play. We can't stop that. So as parents, we now need to be worried more about our children going back to school. They will go back whether we like it or not. The point I want to emphasize on this is the fact that as a parent, you do not have any excuse now to say you're not going to eat fruits and vegetables. Because if you eat it, these children will eat it with you. I know that for a fact. Our children don't learn by what we tell them. They learn by what they see us do. So now more than ever, we have to start that level of good eating habit so they can pick it from us, so they can be better protected. In fact, a primary school in Faversham in Kent has announced that they do not have the capacity to stop the children from playing together. So in essence, if your children were to return to school, whatever risk they were to be exposed to, they would not be liable. And I have a feeling most schools will take that stand as well, because you can't actually stop children from playing together. But what we can do as parents do is to ensure we support them, we protect them with good nutrition. We support them, we protect them with adequate supplements. And because we know our children are picky, fussy eaters, they won't eat it sometime when you give it to them, you must now, and I use the word must, and I'm not taking that back, we must now find really good fruits, vegetables, and berry supplement that we need to give to our children before they go back to school. It's a must. I know you know what I'm talking about. We have worked hard over them, may we not lose them to sad situations. So we have a duty, that is part of our responsibility that I want to talk about. That responsibility is not just about you, it's about your children as well. And when I say this, I'm not referring to the mothers, my fathers, my brothers. I'm going to beg you with this. Allah has made you a leader for a reason. Part of the reason why you're a leader is not just about enforcing discipline in the house. It's about ensuring you are supporting your wife, one, with money to encourage good, good budgeting and good shopping habits, and two, actually enforcing that our mothers are able to shop for the right thing and we encourage them to eat it. Because one of the things we hear is, oh, my husband cannot do without eating swallow. So maybe that change needs to come from the top. Maybe if our children see that daddy is now eating more fruits and vegetables, they want to join us. So I want to beg us, our fathers, that is now a job. It's not up to the women alone now. The kind of world we are now, it involves all of us. And for us to make it work, we have to work together as a cohesive unit. So I hope with this few stuff I've said, I've been able to touch on one or two things that's benefited one or two of us. If there is any questions, kindly ask, and I will be here. This is all I've got for us. If there's anything more that I haven't mentioned, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive each and every one of us of our shortcomings, and may He answer all our prayers. Please, there is no two way about it. The next level is the level of using our nutrition as the solution to all our health conditions going forward. Whether that is that of our children, whether that is that of our mental health, whether that is that of the physical health we have, whether that is because we want to reverse the existing chronic conditions, this is the next way forward. I do a lot of health talk on the internet. You can join me. I've done lots of videos on different medical, on different conditions that affect the Black people. You can go on my page to watch. You will pick ideas from that. We do live chats. We do food challenges and all to support our community. It is about us, for us to grow as a people. Thank you so much again, As-salatu Rahman, for having me. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. Thank you. Have a good evening. I'll be here to wait for one or two questions so that we can move on from there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello? 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 Okay, let's go. Hello?
Hello, I'm just asking about this is Solomon's line. I'm talking about the health and about the house. Is it possible when during the month of this Ramadan, if you're under medication, is it possible that you can use the medication in the morning? Or what time can you use?
What kind of medication are we talking about, if you don't mind me asking, so I know how to... Oh, fantastic. That's a very good question. Now, two ways to manage that. The general advice for those that are diabetic is, if you are diabetic, you don't have to fast. Let's get that clear. But if you are fasting, the best time to actually take your diabetes medication is when you break your fast at iftar. And this is the reason why. You know, when we break our fast at iftar, we have more like the biggest meal of the day at that time. So you have enough food in your system for this medication to work with. So once you've taken that, by the time you wake up for your sahur as well, some part of it would have been processed, and you take your sahur, your risk of hypoglycemia actually gets reduced. So it's better to always take your to take your medications at your iftar time. This is slightly different from those that are on insulin. If you're on insulin for your diabetes control, in fact, before you fast, you should have gone to your GP to have a review. Because what happens is that by the time you start fasting, most of us tend to lose weight, and because of the long hours of the fast, you will not be able to continue on the same dose of the insulin whilst you're fasting in the month of Ramadan. So the general advice then will be that you need to reduce your doses a little bit to give room for the fact that you're fasting. And you must be able to know all your hypo symptoms really, really well. So if you're fasting and you notice you're in hypo, you are allowed to, break your fast. That is well allowed. So if you're in hypo in Ramadan, break your fast. If you're on insulin, reduce the dose of the insulin. Maybe, some people they know how well to calculate their insulin from 2 to 4 units. It's about knowing how to get those titers correct. I hope that answers the question, sir. You're welcome. Wa alaikum salam. Is there any more questions? Hello? Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much for the presentation.
You're welcome, sir.
Thought we're moving to training to do the question and answer. I did not realize we were going to do that.
Okay.
However, I have a few questions which did not yet sent to me, and I'll be reading them to you one after the other.
Okay.
The first question is this. You talked about the application.
Sorry, about what? I think someone else from the Salatu is trying to contact me again. Sorry, what's the question, sir?
You talked about self-application.
Self? Is there any word? Sorry, I didn't get that. Yeah. Hello? 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 Hello?
Yeah, my sister, I will call you back 1 minute. My daughter is just asking me something.
Are you still live?
I'm wondering, because I thought this would go off.
Yeah, we're going to cut it off, but I have a question to ask. That is what I've been trying to.
Okay. Some people I think some people are coming in and then cutting it off as well. Okay.
Can I ask my question now? Or
yes, please go ahead. Go ahead.
My question has to do with the vitamin D boost. Is it something that you could go to your GP and ask them to give you a boost for your vitamin D while you then continue the supplement?
So you mean to get the blood test done for vitamin D level?
Yes, I'm aware. I know of a friend who after falling ill was boosted with vitamin D. Yes. And the question is it something that one could just go to the GP and say, I think I need a supplement later, but for now, could you recommend a boost for me to enhance my vitamin D level?
If you go to your GP, what the GP will do they will take your blood to actually check your vitamin D level, because that is part of the checks they should do. So usually the blood take about 3 or 4 days to return. And once that return, there are 2 ways to start off on vitamin D treatment. There is the part they call the loading dose. So if your level is so low, they might have to load you with a very, very high content. In fact, sometimes give the injection, right? So they will do that. The GP will not just start you on vitamin D without taking the blood. However, we do know that there are lots of low doses vitamin D, especially the D3 specifically now everywhere. Sincerely, I think every black person should be on that. We should. So that you can always walk into any pharmacy, Tesco has that everywhere, to get that and use. Pending the time you will be able to go to your GP to do the blood test, because the GP won't start it for you without doing a blood test first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so
And
much.
Another thing to put is that I know that a lot of us actually are vitamin D deficient. Almost 70% of Nigerians are vitamin D deficient. So genuinely, we actually all need to go get it checked and go on the supplements. We should do.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome,
And
sir.
in that sense of any other question, I don't know if anybody else is trying to.
I don't
reach out
know.
to you.
So there is another number coming, but I'm not sure whether that is coming from you or from someone else. There's been a lot of numbers.
Let me disconnect to allow you to answer that question before we round up this session. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Hello.
Hello, my sister. Was not meant to do that. Just no want someone to come and.
Sorry, I'm on a live program now, ma. I will call you back. Okay?
Eh?
I am on a live program now, ma. Do you mind if I call
Okay.
you back? Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you,
All
ma.
right.
Bye. Hello? Hello? This person is not talking. Hello? Hello? Oh gosh. Hello? This person's line is not good. Hello? Okay, I think I'm going to sign off now.
This particular thing, the budget, if you need it, let us know because I want to collect them and see how much it's going to cost us.
Seriously. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, I'm the one who's been trying to link you for the past 10 minutes.
Okay. Good
We
afternoon.
didn't realize that the question and answer would be on this platform. We thought we would be going to Team Link.
Okay.
So I have collected some questions from you from our members.
Okay.
So if you have time, we can go through a few of them.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, the first one is this. When we talk about detoxification.
Sorry, about self?
Detoxification.
Okay.
Can you explain some methods people can
That detoxification is a very long process. It's not what I can deal with on this platform. When you need to detox, it's usually minimum of 10 days. It involves a lot of water. You have a detox drink you'll be drinking, and usually a meal plan to follow that will have very low carb content. If anyone is interested, they will need to contact me to get that. So that's not for this platform. It's way longer than here.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, there's a comment that in one of your previous talks, you shared the recipe for tiger nuts. Tiger nuts or tiger nuts?
About what? Tiger nuts.
Yes. Can you go through that with us as well?
The videos are there. Whoever mentioned that, I'm sure that person has seen the video. I've got that. The videos is actually there in the public domain. I'm sure whoever mentioned that has seen that video. But basically, what you do is the tiger nuts. Yes, it's on my page at Ibironke Khadeejah Quadri under live all my live videos. There are so many of them. The tiger nuts one is I just titled it how to make tiger nuts swallow. Basically, it's simple. You soak the tiger nuts overnight or for 2 days, depending on the type you have. Blend it and then blend with a little bit of water and turn on low heat like you're making your gari, your elubo, or your semo. But you need a bit of thickener, which is the xylem musk. So it's actually better to go watch that video so you get all the information in there. So to thicken it with a little bit of xylem musk, which is a fiber, is a herbs fiber. So the more the xylem musk, the thicker, the heavier it's going to be. So you only need very little xylem musk. If you can't find the xylem musk, you can actually thicken with a little bit of oats. The normal coconut oats that we drink. You can actually blend that with the tiger nuts and then, turn it on low heat like you would do your amala, and then you eat it with any soup of your choice. It's a very good replacement for our normal heavy carbohydrates.
Thank you. The other question we have is talk about high rate of blood pressure and they not taking their medication. So feedback we have is that men do not, Nigerian men do not like taking their high blood pressure medication because it leads to erectile dysfunction. Absolutely.
I didn't want to mention that because I didn't want to mention that on that platform because children may go later to watch it. Okay. That's the reason why I didn't go there. I know most are not complying with it because of the impotence and the erectile dysfunction issue. Now, this is going to bring me back to everything we've been saying. If you are not going to take our blood pressure medication, then we must work really hard so that we have to be able to reverse it naturally. This is where detoxing comes in. This is where supplementing with, I hope we are offline now because I don't want to mention my products on your live video because I don't want any issues. This is where...
Well, I don't think we really mind, to be honest.
Okay, if you wouldn't mind.
We don't really mind.
Okay. This is where... That is fine. Okay.
I don't think we really mind. It's going to be beneficial.
Okay. This is where things like Juice Plus capsules comes into play. The capsules I promote are natural organic fruit and vegetable and berry supplements. Very, very high concentrated. So what you are simply getting is getting the benefit of having 30 varieties of fruits and vegetables into your system on daily basis. Now, when you do that, everyone knows the benefit of eating fruits and vegetables, but we don't eat it. Now, if you're able to go on that kind of regime, get yourself on a proper detox, begin to lose weight, your blood pressure will start to, reduce itself naturally anyway, such that your dependence on your blood pressure pills will be greatly reduced. We've seen people that have come off blood pressure pill completely. And for those that have not been able to come off, at least they've been able to reduce it. Now, the lower the dose, the easier your performance. It's that simple. And the more fruits and vegetables you eat, the better the cells of the body will perform. So it's a corrective thing. So it's useful like that.
These are all the questions.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for giving us time.
You're welcome, sir. No, it's fine. No, it's good. No problem, sir. No problem, sir.
All part of the management, one of those members, management and their management to express our sincere appreciation and then wish you well to get it.
Thank you. And same to you. Thank you very much. My regards to everyone. Bye, sir. Bye. Bye. Hello?
Can you sign up now if you are still on here or you finished?
Where? Is he on the team link or on which one?
No, on the Facebook and our link, the link I shared with you.
I think I'm off it already.
You are off already. You are just answering questions now, isn't it?
Yes, I'm actually off that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. The producer will disconnect it. So you can just I'm mindful of the time and the agreement for 1 hour. So
Yeah.
as not to take too much of your time. If you can just do a dua or just do a closing remark and we can do a further to arrangement for another talk another time.
So where should I do that?
Sorry?
Is that on the link?
No, not today.
Oh, okay.
It's something that we'll discuss after this session.
All right, no problem, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can just do your sign off and thank you so much for doing this for us.
Yeah, I'm off your link already anyway. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'll give you a call. Thank you.
No problems. Thank you. Bye. Bye.